So come and lie on your back. And as always, give yourself time to be here. However you are. Whether it's a thumbs up, a thumbs down, a general hover, somewhere in between, or you actually have no idea. You don't need to go looking. Just sometimes we're just how we are, and that's absolutely fine as well. So just give yourself time to be here with that bit more, I suppose, mindfulness about you being here, getting a sense of your body lying on the floor, and that felt sense of the floor beneath you, your spine supported by the floor, and whether knees are bent or straight out, just that sense of there's your legs, there's your arms, there's the back of your head, there's your skull. And take maybe 2, maybe 3 consciously bigger breaths, just a little bit bigger, so you can take a bit more oxygen in and take more of a sigh out. Really just to bring attention to your breath being there. And then let it return to just a steady rhythm, and maybe notice what the rhythm of your breath is. So it might be flowing quite easy this morning. It might feel a little bit stuck. Maybe it feels fast, quite slow, and just noticing how it is without feeling the need to do anything about it or judge it in any way. We're going to do quite a few twists this morning, which can help and release tightness in diaphragm as well. So if breath does feel a bit stuck, it might release some of it. And then when you're ready, take your arms up above, so your fingertips are up towards the ceiling, and just take some small circles. So a bit like, I do always think these are like zombie arms. So just kind of lazy circles, and maybe getting a sense of your shoulder blades. So where you've got connection with arms and the floor are doing a bit of circling there, as well as your fingers circling. You might feel the kind of shifted weight on the shoulder blades as you circle the arms. And then start to make it bigger, and make it as big as you want to make it. So it might be just a little bit bigger. You might do a huge big claiming your space circle. And then do another one this way, and then change direction, keeping the circle just as big. So whatever point in the circle it feels the right time to change direction, do that. Keep them big. And then gradually start to make the circles smaller. So we bring them in towards that kind of zombie arms place. So the circle's smaller. You might be feeling again that kind of shift, circling around the shoulder blades, and then eventually let them just stop quite still. Brilliant. And then give your hands and wrists a wee shake out. Give the arms a bit of a shake. Perfect. And then your arms are going to come out to the side of your body, and you're going to take your feet a little bit wider, so maybe about mat width wide, and knees bent if they're not already. And just a few windscreen wipers. It's to give a gentle twist through the spine, bit of opening through the hips. Brilliant. And just keeping that going for a bit. So we'll go 1 or 2 more. And then stopping the knees in the center, picking them up. And then the last circling, hands onto the kneecaps, and you're going to circle the knees with the hands. So making a nice big kind of circle. And then you might feel just a little bit of rocking in your pelvis as you do that, kind of the back of your pelvis, the bottom where your tailbone is. And then go the other direction and circle through the hips there. Perfect. Okay. Keep hold of one knee, and then let the other leg lengthen out. Flex that foot on the leg that's lengthened. Make lots of length through that long leg. And then if there's scope to draw the bent knee in, do that, but not shortening the length of the other leg. We're looking for opening the straight leg. more than drawing in the bent one. And then swap that over. Good, so once it's lengthened, flex that foot on the straight leg. And then if there's space to pull the bent knee in a little bit more, go for that. Fab. Okay. And then bringing both feet to the floor, you're going to roll to your side and you're going to come onto all fours. We'll take some cat-cows, just a bit more mobility. Spread the hands out, let yourself cat-cow through the spine. And really just let yourself move here. So don't overly focus on how you do this. Just really enjoy your spine moving. It might even be not quite a cat-cow, not quite a circle, bit of a squiggle, just anything that feels nice to do with your spine there. Perfect. Okay. And then bringing that back to just letting your spine settle, you're going to tuck the toes and we'll take a little press back into the toes, press into hips towards the heels. Just find as much in the undertoes as you can, doesn't matter how much that is. And then come forward and then see if you can get a little bit more of your toes tucked under as you're forward and then press back into it. Perfect. And then we'll do that one more time. Come forward, see if there's a wee bit more of the toes that can feel the mat and then press back for the last time. Awesome. Nice work, guys. Okay. So come forward from that, untuck your toes, and then we're going to take one arm under. Let's all go, right arm comes under actually. So it's going to thread through your left. You're going to look towards your left, bending that left elbow, and then see if you can put a little bit of weight on the outside of the right shoulder and bring the side of your face down. If you can't get the head down, that's fine. Keep the head popped up and just a little kind of press down towards that shoulder. Nice. Now you're going to unthread that right arm. You're going to straighten the left, look towards the right, and open that right arm up towards the right. You might open quite a bit, you might open not too much. And then you're going to bring it back through, thread through the left, and then you're going to slide it back under and open up to the right. So turning, if you can, your breastbone to the right. Good job. And then we'll do it one more time. Thread through. And then open to the right. And really press your left hand into the floor, make length through the left. And that's going to help you open out your wingspan. Nice. Bring that right hand down. Bring the knees wide, the toes together, and send the hips back into a child's pose. And see if you can really lengthen through the arms here. So there's maybe a bit of wiggling of the hips towards the heels, the fingertips pressing out, and then the fingertips pressing into the mat to push a bit more length into your tailbone. Good job. And then bring the hips up from that, bring your knees under your hips again, and we'll go with the opposite side. So this time you're going to thread the left arm through. We're going to start with a little bit of stretch. So bending the right arm, placing a bit of weight onto the left shoulder, side of the left face down towards the mat if you can. Just take a breath or two there. Lovely. And then from there, press into the right hand to unthread you. Keep pressing at the right hand and open up to the left. Nice. Thread back through onto the right. And then open back up. A really good press into the standing arms. Open your wingspan and let your breastbone circle. Good job. These look great. Well done. One more time. And then open it up. You're using that standing arm to give you some leverage. Brilliant, guys. And then that left hand comes down. And once again, we're going to take the knees wide, toes together, and press back into child's pose. Good job. And just keep wiggling into it. And then you can stay here if you want, or you can bring the hips up, bring the knees under, tuck the toes, and press into down dog. So it's entirely your choice. I'm going to give you the options for down dogs. I'm doing child's pose today because there's too much snot going on. So whichever one you prefer. If you're in down dog, start to kind of walk through the feet. Maybe push with the hands, let the shoulder blades slot into the back of the body. You're in child's pose. Find the length through the side of the waist, side of the ribs. Nice. And then down dog, bringing knees to floor, child's pose, coming up to your knees and coming into, come onto your knees and circle your shoulders. That's what I was trying to say. Nice. Take the hands behind you, clasp the fingers and lengthen between the front and the body. Good job. And then let that soften. Okay. The suggestion is that you bring your, let's see what we're all in. Bring your right foot forward, just looking at who's what and where I am in the camera. Let's bring your, I'm going to go left, but bring your right foot forward into a lunge. Nice. Okay. And again, we'll take the hands behind and we'll just do a little bit opening through the chest. Good stuff. And then from here, you're going to take your right hand onto your hip. Your left arm's going to reach forward, and see if you can kind of reach forward with your torso, open it up, and then take a big circle with it. So you're going to circle that left arm and open into the left just as much as you can. Yeah. So that same thing of look for your breastbone. So often we try and keep the breastbone where it is and circle the arm. Really let your torso move with it. Brilliant. And then go one more time. Nice. And then keep that left arm up and then take it over to the outside of your right thigh. That's it. And we're going to keep the chest up this time. So sometimes I have us coming down. Keep the chest nice and high. And then from there, you're going to take your right arm back, press the left hand into the side of that thigh to see if you can lever a bit of turning round. So we're twisting to the opposite side. Brilliant. Yes. That's it. Good job. And a real kind of reach out from the collarbone on that right arm. Take a big deep breath in. Breathe out. And then turn back to the center. Bring the knees back to the floor and either child's pose or down dog, whichever one you want. If you're in down dog, walk through the feet. If you're in child's pose, kind of walk through the hands, press into the palms, push into the fingertips. And then again, settling for a few breaths. Nice, lovely. And then knees down or chest up. We'll meet again on our knees once more with a roll of the shoulders. And again, the hands are going to clasp behind, just to open up the front of the body. Good job, guys. And then unclasping there, and we're going to bring the left leg forward this time. Okay, so other leg, I'm going to come this way because it's probably a bit more helpful. Good job. So letting yourself kind of reach forward through the hips. This time we're going to take the arms up, so we've got a bit stretched through the front of the body. Good stuff. And maybe just get a bit more length through the side of the ribs, the bottom. I don't know, is that the bottom of the top of the arm? Depends what it is. Top parts of the arm, bottom of where they are in space. Nice. And then you're going to bring the left hand down onto your hip. So we've got the right arm up, and we're going to do that same thing of reaching forward, circling and twisting. Just kind of follow the movement. That's exactly it. As it opens out to the right, your breastbone has a little peak. So there's quite a lot of movement through the chest here. That's it, really nice. It's getting the middle of the back, the thoracic spine moving, which can often get a bit tight. Good. We're going to do one more time, guys. That's it. And then you're going to stop with that right arm up in the air. You're going to bring it down to the outside of the left thigh, and then use that to lever it. So really kind of push into it and turn your breastbone towards the left and open out that left arm. Good job. And take a breath. Then see if when you're here, you can lift the chest up more. So the arm might slide. You might end up it's the back of the wrist or the back of the hand that's on the thigh, not necessarily towards the elbow. But get a real kind of sense of being upright and open at the chest. Great. Get one more breath here. Good. And then turn back to the center, come back to your knees, and once again, either down dog or child's pose, whichever you prefer. And again, that kind of walking through the feet or pushing through the hands, make it a bit kind of wiggly and squiggly. And then settle for 2 or 3 breaths. Nice. Okey-doke. And then starting to come up to your knees. All the way up to the knees. We'll take one last roll of the shoulders and one last clasp of the hands. Pressing the hip bones forward. Oh, actually, I was going to do something here. I think I will. And then kind of soften that clasp and bring the hands to the hips. Okay. So you can either do this with feet flat or toes tucked under. There's no right answer. It'll be the one that you feel most stable with. Okay, one's going to stretch the shins, one's going to stretch the feet. So from here, you're going to think of your sitting bones coming down towards your heels, creasing at the top of your thighs, and then pushing back up just to where you've been. Okay, so it's my kneecaps going. So play with it. Some of you, I know I'm quite flexible. I can sit down on my heels. You might not be able to, and that's totally fine. Okay, but it's just getting a bit of movement through the hamstrings, a bit of stretch through the front of the quads. And we'll go one more time. Finishing again, up on your knees, and this time we'll just take a big stretch up. So less of a kind of open and more of a reach and lift. Nice. And then bring that down, give the shoulders a wee circle, and you are going to come up to your feet, however you get there, and you're going to come and stand at the top of your mat. Settle onto your 2 feet, and just give yourself time to be here standing and upright. Okay. So feel your feet underneath you. And then take time to look forward. And get that sense of your head being on top of your feet. And I know it is, but get a real felt sense of your head there being at the top of your body and balancing like a really well balanced Jenga. So often our head can be down and kind of, so really take this chance to look forward and let it settle on the top of your body. Nice. Okay. Hands come to your hips. And we're going to step, I go with, let me see where you're at, you're facing me, Diane. So step your left foot back. Let's see if I've got that right. Yeah, perfect. And then come into warrior 2. So if I've got it right, Kirsty and Anne should be facing me. And Diane, you can still see me from that angle. Perfect. So come into warrior 2 and open through the arms. Okay, so we're just going to do a little bit of flow, I suppose, settle in here. And let yourself really find your feet. Let the arms open. Nice. And then from there, we're going to breathe in. We're going to take the arms up. We're going to straighten that front leg. And as we breathe out, we're coming back down into warrior 2 again. And we breathe in and we open up. And we breathe out and we settle down. Nice. We really play with that up and down. I think we did this last time before I went away, but work out the breath. So there's a kind of settling in, there's a lifting up and expanding. And then we'll stay in warrior 2 this time when you come down into it. Get a little bit more settle into the feet. You might press a bit more into the heel and the balls of the foot, lovely. And then you're going to straighten that front leg. And we're going to come into triangle. So bringing that front arm forward, nice. Open out through your wingspan. And we're going to keep the legs straight. We're going to bring the arms up. And we're going to take the back arm back and the front arm up. So we get a little flow between triangle and then reverse triangle. Great. And then again, work with this in your own breath pattern. So maybe breathing out. And then breathing in as you come into reverse. Yeah, we'll do it a couple more times. Good work, guys. One more time. And then stay in reverse triangle this time. Stay up. Nice. And then from there, you're going to turn to that left side of the mat. She goes, facing me, or and arms are out. So you're just coming into a wide leg stand. Yeah, you got it in it. I'm like, oh, is that left or right? And then place the hands on the hips. And from there, forward fold, bend at the hips and take a forward fold. Reach out. So press your hands into the top of your thighs and let that kind of lengthen out through your spine. Good job. And then if it feels good, let the hands slide down the legs to wherever they reach, let the head drop and come into more of a fold. Nice. Stay there for you. Bend the knees as much as you need to and stay there for a few breaths. Yeah, sorry, I'm up. My head ain't going to go down there. Nice. And then from there, slide your arms back up. Find your hands to the top of your thighs or your hips, lengthen out through your spine again, and then bring it up. Good. Turn to the front of your mat, turn the front foot, and come and stand back at the front of your mat. Perfect. Back in mountain pose, give yourself some time to just settle there. And again, have that look forward, feel the head balance on the top of the body, top of the spine, and take a few steadying breaths. Good job. Okay. So we're going to do the other side. You know what you're doing and you can hear me. So if you turn it away from it, it's absolutely fine. We're going to take the right leg back and come again into warrior two. Okay. So yeah, or do turn if you do want to see me, just turn and have it the opposite way. So arms are out, reach out through the arms, steady into the feet. So feel the push of the front foot into the back and the back foot pushing into the front. And take a couple of breaths here just to feel your warrior two. Nice. Then we take an in breath and we straighten the front leg and we take the arms up overhead. And on the out breath, we come back to warrior two. The in breath takes us up and the out breath brings us back to warrior two. So that front knee's bending and straightening. Good. And really play with the bends of that knee. You might find that as you can bend more, you need to wiggle that front foot forward, give you a bit more space. Good job. We're going to do one more in breath, out breath. Nice. We're going to stop here in warrior two for a breath. And then straightening that front leg and taking a little swivel into triangle. Nice. Stop here for a breath or two. Let your wingspan really open. Feel your back foot press into the floor as well as the front. And then on an in breath, you're going to come up from there, take it into reverse triangle, back arms down, front arms up. And on an out breath, you come back to where you've been into triangle. Lovely. And we'll do a few of those. So breathing in to come to reverse triangle. You might feel a bit more weight in the back foot when you do that, but stay steady through the front as well. As you come into triangle, you might feel a bit more weight through the front, but feel the steadiness in the back. Brilliant. So we're going to do a few more of these. I've gone all hippie-ish in my mind, and I'm like a bit of grass swaying in the wind. Go one more time, stopping in reverse triangle. So stopping with that front arm up, back arm down. Reach up through that front arm. Nice. And then bring the arms down to your hips. Turn the feet to the long side of the mat, keeping a nice wide stance with the legs. And then pressing the hands into the thigh, folding forward, lengthening the spine first. Good. You know, bend the knees if you need to. Really feel a push into the ball of the feet and the heels. And then you might let the arms slide down the legs, let the head drop if that feels good to do. And stop there for a breath. So the knees are going to bend as much as it feels. You can let that top half of your body just fall away. Nice. And then taking your time to slide your legs back up to, hands back up to the thighs and straightening through your spine. I'd love to see you slide your legs back up to your hips and then straightening up from there. Turn into the front of your mat, coming to stand at the front of the mat, back into mountain pose, back to steady. Good job, guys. And again, that sense that your head's on the top of your body there. Like a lovely little dot on the top of the eye, floating at the top of your spine. Good, okay. So we'll play with balance a little bit. I think if you take your right foot back and take it back into a big lunge, okay? So you're going to come up to the ball of your foot, and then you're going to bend your left knee and find your way into a lunge, okay? So with the lunge, you don't want to be peering over that front one. You want to be sitting down into the centre. So there's quite a bend in the front knee and a lift in the back thigh. Take the arms up and reach up through the sides of the body just to get a bit of length. Perfect. Oops, she says wobbling all over the place. And you're going to bring the arms down to your hips. And then we are going to start to play with pushing the balance over to that front leg, okay? So you're going to push through the back leg, and you're going to tip your body over the front and maybe take a bit of a push through the back leg to bring more weight onto the front. And then settle back into the lunge. So we're just doing a bit of transfer the weight, wee bit of the foot pushes so you feel like you've got more weight on the front leg. Oops. And then you wiggle it back and you settle back onto both. Perfect. So just play with this one, guys, okay? That might be where you go, but you're just like, that's enough. And it's struggling to balance on there. You might want to find your way there and see what it's like to bring the back foot up. And you can always press it down again. So just work with where you're at with it. It might come up and lengthen quite a bit. Hands, to be honest, wherever you want them. Or you might just want to play with that with a little bit of a push and feeling a bit of weight into that front leg. That's a bit vague. I hope that makes sense. I'm just going to watch what you guys do and see. Yeah. As long as you're kind of bringing some weight into that front leg. Good job. Whether that back foot comes up or not is kind of irrelevant. Go one more time. Brilliant. Love it. You're all kind of just doing your own wee play there. Nice. And then when you're ready, you come back into the lunge, lift the chest up, and then you're going to bring the back foot in a wee bit so your heel's down, and we're simply going to stretch into that back foot, okay? So the heel's down on the right, the left knee's bent, the chest is up, and you're pushing down into that right heel. Hands are going to come back to open the chest as well. Good. So you might press the right thigh back, press the right heel down, and feel some stretch in the calf there. Cool. And then unclasp the hands, come back to mountain pose, but give your legs a good old shake out first, and then settle back onto both of them for a few breaths. Good stuff. And then we will do that on the other side. So hands to hips, you come back with the left foot into a high lunge, let yourself be upright and feel a bend in the front knee and a lift in the back thigh. Okay? So can you find a place where the weight's distributed over both legs? Nice. And that's where we start playing with it. So we start to tip the hips, tip the weight, bit of a push of the leg, feel a bit more weight onto that right leg. And then you might come back, or you might start to just kind of go, right, I've got that, and here's where I'm going to play from and see if that back leg lifts. If it doesn't, good job. So it's less about what it looks like and more about asking that standing leg to take more of the weight and the stability. These are brilliant, guys. You might kind of go forward and back from it, you might stay in the balance. If you're playing with coming in and out of it, go one more time in. And then bring it down. Good. And then again, we're going to bring that back foot in so you can get the whole foot down. Doesn't matter how wide that stance is. Press that left heel down, a bit of a bend in the right. Oops. And then lift in the chest. And again, I think we'll clasp the hands. Good. So that left thigh is going to press back and the left heel is going to press down. Hopefully you feel a bit of a stretch. Good stuff. Okay, and then from there, bring it forward again, give your legs a wee kick out. We're going to take a big stretch up. I'm going to come this way so you can see a big stretch up with the arms overhead. Clasp your thumbs together so you almost make like a wee butterfly up there. And then keep the thumbs together as you bend over to one side, doesn't matter what side. Weight down through that lengthened side and up through the waist on the shortened side. Then back up to the center. And we're going to do the same on the other side. Reach through the arms, down through the lengthened side, and up through the waist on the other side. Good job. Come up from there, and then you're going to take the arms down. You're going to bend the knees as much as you need to, and you're going to fold yourself forward, let the arms hang. Cool. Let's take a couple of breaths there. Nice work, guys. And then take your time, however you get there, to come down onto all fours. Okay. Once you're there, do a big cat stretch. So just let the head drop, tail drop, push into the cat stretch. Nice. And then let your spine settle out the cat stretch. And either taking the knees wide toes together for the child's pose, or you might want to come into another down dog here, whichever you prefer. Okay, so there's a kind of feeling I need to stretch out a bit more into down dog, go with that. If there's more of a need to let the legs settle, come into child's pose. Really. And just take a couple of breaths here. Nice work, and we'll meet back up on all fours. Knees under hips, hands under shoulders. Okay, so my suggestion is you do this. You're going to come to face the right. Let me talk you through that. Okay, so I'm going to go this way so that I'm also going to do the right and not get confused. Okay, so we're going to come back to where we went into that opening up towards the right. So you're going to take the right arm up and let the breastbone look to the right. Brilliant. Bring the arm down and then do that one more time. Open up and stay here. You're going to take the left leg and you're going to turn it to the left and you're going to bring some weight onto that left arm. Turn into the left and opening that top leg. Good job. Well done. So you come into a wee half star. Hey. And then bring it back down onto all fours. Let yourself just come back onto all four limbs. And then come on into that again. So you might want to start with the right leg. It kind of turns away. You bring the weight over onto the left arm, open the right arm like you did, and then lengthen the right leg. Awesome. Make your wingspan really, really long. Let your breastbone open. Take a big, deep in breath and out breath. And then bring that back down to the floor, either child's pose or down dog, whichever you feel you want. Your child's pose, if you're there, might be less wide-legged, it might close in, or you might take your arms to the side as well. Good job, guys, just finding what one's the right one for you. And then again, we'll meet on all fours. Perfect. And then obviously we're going to do that on the other side. So we're going to open to the left, and we're going to take just a couple of preps with sweeping the left arm up, turning the breastbone to the left, and then bringing it down. And then doing that one more time, opening that out, pressing into the right arm, turn the right foot away from the mat, bring the weight onto the right, and open that left leg up. Great. And then bring that back down again onto all four limbs. And then when you're ready, we'll do that one more time. So you kind of take the right foot and you turn it like 90 degrees, pointing it off the side of the mat. Weight into the right arm, open up, and lengthening that left leg. Really good. Nice big open of the breastbone. Find your wingspan. And then come back down into all fours. And this time we'll all come into child's pose. So knees together is my suggestion, but it's up to you. You might want to lengthen the arms out, or you might want to take them to the side of your body, have a little bit more of a rest through the shoulders. Take a couple of breaths here. And then come on up to your knees when you're ready and come and have a sit on your bum. So we'll do a wee seated twist and a lying twist, and then we'll start to wind it down. So if I mirror you, take your right leg out and your left leg across. Actually, keep your left leg in. Let's do it that way. Stay. Okay? So it's not crossing over, it's on the inside. And take hold of that shin to lift yourself up as tall as you can. So use the shin to give you that help. Brilliant. Then your right arm's coming round. Keep the height and take the left arm behind and then come into that twist. Nice work. And just keep feeling height in your spine, length in your waist, both sitting bones. So sometimes in a twist we roll onto one, feel both of them. And also that sense that your head's that dot on the top of your spine, kind of floating away quite happily there. And take a couple of breaths. And then come on round to the front. Maybe straighten your legs out a bit, give them a wee shake, or take a few windscreen wipers, whatever feels good. Perfect. And then lengthen out your left leg, bring your right leg bent in. And again, take hold of that shin and use it to sit yourself tall. Great. And then keeping that height as much as you can. Your left arm grabs around the leg, the right arm comes back. And feeling the length through your torso, up to the crown of your head. Your head's just floating on there, easy at the top of your spine. Take a couple of breaths. Okay, and then bring that back round. And then come and lie onto your back when you're ready. When you get there, hug your knees in, take a little circle and a little roll, whatever feels nice. Just let your back have a bit of a massage. And then you're going to bring your feet down to the floor. And you're going to take your feet a little bit wider so they're about that width. Okay. And your arms are going to come out to the side. So from here, it's like we would do windscreen wipers, but we're just going to come into one. So you're going to take your knees over towards the right, roll onto that right side of your pelvis. So your knees are wide, coming into a wee twist. We'll stop for a few breaths. So see if you can let that right side of your pelvis soften into the floor. The left leg drop with gravity. And the feet relax. And then take a big deep breath in, and on the out breath, really let it all go. Nice. Your knees come back to the center, take your time. And then we'll take just a few, not even windscreen wipers, more just kind of sways. Let the knees sway a bit. And then when you're ready, you'll take them over to the left side and we'll settle into the left side. Don't be surprised if there's a difference on both sides, one side to the other. And see if you can soften into that left side of the pelvis, letting your right leg give to gravity a bit. And the ribs soften. And again, take a big deep breath in and a really good sigh out, let it all go. Again, bring your knees back to the center. Again, just a little sway of the knees. for maybe a couple of times each side. And then a final drawing of the knees again. Give them a good hug, really pull them in. Nice. And then again, we'll just take hold of one knee, stretch the other leg out, draw the toes back, press the heel away. And if there's a bit more for that baby to pull in, do it. And then change it over when you're ready. Nice. And then you might want a final drawing of the knees, or you might want the feet down and a few wee windscreen wipers, or just anything that feels like just if you want a wee move before you settle for reflection, just really be guided by maybe what your body wants to do. And then come and find somewhere for a couple of minutes of quiet time, whether that's lying or sitting, is entirely up to you. Somewhere where you're comfy, that's what's important. Nice. And then once you're there, and you might take another couple of breaths, more just as a kind of, here I am, let myself settle into it. And then I will give you this quiet time, and I'll be back here in a couple of minutes. So if you want to stay here for longer, absolutely do that. If it feels like it's time to bring practice to a close, then take your time, come into a seated position if you're not already there. Find your way there as best suits you and at the pace that best suits you. There is no rush. It's seldom we don't have just a few more seconds to spare, a few more seconds to take our time. Stop for a breath. When you do come to that position, if you're bringing practice to close, just give yourself time to be there. For yourself, feel your body upright, acknowledging the practice is coming to a close. It always comes off the mat with us in some way, shape, or form. Whether that's simply a feeling different, feeling better, feeling good, however you describe it, physically noticing something, or energetically taking the teachings off the mat in some way. Maybe there's something as you sit here that you can sense from the practice you want to take into the rest of your day. A word, a feeling, a colour, anything makes sense to you. Just give yourself time to notice that. Breathe it in. And then when you're ready, bring your hands to heart center. And the last bit of practice, but in some ways the most important thing, where we thank ourselves. How often do we thank ourselves for things? So thank yourself for coming to practice. Thank yourself for being who you are. Thank you for me for being who you are. Namaste.